Morning and welcome. How the devil are you? I'm really good. Look, they came in. So this is the suffragette bobble hat. Can't even. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you what I've just signed up for. It's so exciting. Anyway, how are you? I'm really good. I think I forgot to put half my makeup on. So sorry about that. But here we are. Anyway, I've got my warm suffragette scarf on and my suffragette hat, and I can't take my hat off for the whole thing because I'll have hat hair. So I'm stuck wearing this hat and looking at my own face. That's nice. Anyway, there are the last few remaining of these. I thought they would go quickly because these also went quickly. These are on pre-order. And look at that. Oh, it's proper not itchy, nice, lovely as well. Get it in the store. I'm so so happy. Anyway, I just wanted to it's great, isn't it? My hat. I just wanted to talk about the Lords. And I want to remind everyone when they oh yeah, and this. Except I've got it lopsided. Sorry about that. Um Anyway, and I've only heard bits of Cashman and someone else, and somebody, one of the lords used a man who calls himself a woman and gaslit children in a school to illustrate a point. And I just want to say this is why we know best, right? This is there's something about committees. I was thinking about this a lot because I mentioned it the other day, and then somebody in the comments was like, "You don't know what an organization is." No, I know what a movement is. And actually, I would say the women that come to let women speak and the ordinary women that speak, we already think the same things, right? We don't have to sit in a committee in order to compromise on what we think because we all think the same things. We all think, get out of our daughter's space, mate. You're not coming in. We don't care how you identify. You're not coming in. We're all old enough, many of us are old enough and wise enough to understand what the implications are of men in our space. Um, and so when it comes to what we all want to achieve, most of us outside of this bubble understand that the foundation kind of cornerstone of this entire shit show is um the GRA and the mantras that have stemmed from it. And the fact that it was all pre-planned. It was a premeditated cloudy little bit of legislation, the GRA. So that's what we're talking about. So Cashman speaks, and what does he say? Oh, um, I hate girls. I hate women. I hate girls. I hate women. I hate children. I hate girls. I hate women. I hate girls. Really hate girls. I really do. Oh God, I can't stand women. Hate women. Don't respect women. Don't think they should have any spaces. Don't think um, any woman that has an opinion about a space should be respected. Hate girls. Hate women. Hate girls. Hate women. Hate girls. Hate women. Hate oh my god, and what was it? I hate girls. I think it essentially is what he's and I really, really hate women. So that was Michael Cashman, who there's this thing, and I've seen it on the left quite a few times, and maybe I just haven't noticed it on the right. Maybe I haven't listened to speeches on the right because I'm not that bothered. But there was a bloke picked in Canada to speak. Um And he wrote his speech, like, he was reading his speech. He was reading his speech, and he was picked as one of the speakers, one of the women speakers at to commemorate an event in Canada, a terrible event in Canada, where a man basically killed loads of women, and he hated women, and that was the purpose of the killing, to kill women. And every year over the last couple of years, maybe 3, 5 years, Canada has decided that an appropriate person to speak about this is a bloke in a dress. And he started off like this. I'm standing reading, just bear this in mind, reading. This wasn't like off the cuff. Like sometimes when I talk to you and I say I'm absolutely shaking with rage or whatever, that I'm not reading it. I haven't planned that bit of kind of whatever. And it was something like this. I'm standing here and I'm shaking and my legs are shaking and I'm so nervous and my voice is so shaking as I stand before you and I feel the shaking to the rising up through my chest, around my beating heart, and I'm like, "Oh my god, Jesus Christ, this is not this is not some drama. This is not like GCSE writer speech for drama." And I feel like Cashman was the same. It's sort of like, and I am in no doubt. And then talks about him being sexually abused or being the victim. He said, as a queer, because, you know, Michael, I bet you loved that word queer when you were growing up. I bet that was a but every time you heard that word queer, I bet you were just happy as Larry, just so ecstatic to hear the word queer back in the 70s, probably when you were growing up. Anyway, such a shame about him, isn't it? Because I think he really did help normalize for a lot of like ordinary people who maybe had some homophobic views about gay men. I think his character in EastEnders, because he was like just a decent bloke who happened to be gay, and then there obviously was a gay storyline. You know, it wasn't like everyone just pretended he wasn't gay. Like they made it was a story. He was a really important character. If you don't know who Michael Cashman is, he's basically an actor. And that's what he was doing today in the House of Lords. Isn't it funny? Anyway, and he had a storyline. I think I don't know what happened to the story, but like he had a boyfriend and everything. And I think it really did normalize homosexuality in the eyes of so many people in this country that it's such a shame that he's just absolutely ruined all of that goodness he did for gay men in this country is now totally ruining on his kind of weird ideological lies, I think, when it comes to this particular debate. I don't really think that he thinks children are born in the wrong body. I just don't. I just don't. So anyway, um, so he gave this sort of speech in the House of Lords today, and it was kind of like that. It was kind of like an acting thing. It wasn't like a real speech. Anyway, so he's talked about being queer, and then he says, and he was because he was queer. He linked the fact that he was queer with sexual and physical abuse, and I'm like, how does that work? What is that? Is he saying that as a gay 15-year-old boy, that he was subjected to sexual abuse because he was a gay boy? It just didn't make any sense. Anyway, and then you had Chris Bryant yesterday acting like a baby. I feel speech like speech like that about safeguarding children or about uh, whatever they were talking about. Kemi Badnoch talking about the safeguarding children and getting this stuff out of schools. You know, makes a grown man feel unsafe. Uh, Are these men like insane? It makes men feel. Look, I remember Adrian Harrop in that little thing that I did on Sky News years ago, saying that a billboard made men feel unsafe. Like when women talk about safety, we're not talking about feeling safe. We're talking about being safe. We're talking about the fact that men in our spaces makes it an unsafe place. Not that we feel unsafe. We feel unsafe because we have experience that it is unsafe. So it's just really, really interesting the fact that a grown man in his 50s feeling unsafe is like something that he would think was an appropriate thing to say in the place where we decide whether or not we go to war. Like, really? But anyway, I just want to say that the Lords, as wonderful it is as it is for us all to hear these conversations, they don't seem to get very far. And even if they become policy, they don't seem to get very far because policies, my friends, are not principles. And what we have here at Let Women Speak and the Party of Women, as soon as it's done, what we have is we have principles. We have guiding principles. And the whole committee thing um, is really interesting because they want policies and manifestos and kind of aims and objectives, but we have principles, and what principles can't be done, what can't be done to genuine principles is they can't be altered, right? If you have a genuine principle, and our principles would be to eradicate the Gender Recognition Act. A principle of ours would be to no more harm to children, no more lying at all. Not some, all. No child. It is not fit ever for any child to transition in any way, shape, or form. It is never going to be appropriate, no matter how extreme. It is never going to be appropriate to for a child to take puberty blockers. It's never going to be appropriate. There's never going to be a case where it would be appropriate to guess how that child might feel in 10 years' time and treat them according to how they feel when they're a child. Never going to be appropriate. And I can say that. And I can say that as a principle. And then if you're on board with the Party of Women, that would be one of our principles, that there is no such thing as being born in the wrong body. There's no such thing as a medical or social pathway that pretends a child is the opposite sex or no sex at all. And then when it comes to everything else, our principle would be that fictional laws that create legal fictions are fundamentally wrong and bad for society. That would be a principle. That would be a guiding principle. So that's what we're talking about. And we as outsiders, happily not part of the no outsiders, we are our outsiders. I personally don't have anybody whose back I need to scratch. Nobody at all. So I don't need to compromise my position. I just need to say the things that I want to get done. Until they're done, then I'm going to keep saying them, and I'm going to keep working towards that. And I think we've done really well. I think one of the things that we've done is we have really changed the public consciousness. That's what we've done. So there we go. Anyway, can't do it without you lovely people. But we will be getting more of these in January. There's just a few left now. So nice. They're just so nice. And then these are on their way in as well. And then I've got some really exciting stuff, but I can't share that right now. But principles, not policies. Because policies, think of a policy that this government has had or the previous where you're like, oh, that's their policy. Yeah, that's happened. And I could probably think of a few bad policies that penalize people that have happened, but not good ones. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. When we're talking about safeguarding, what we're really talking about, let me just be really, really clear. What we're really talking about is the girls and boys in schools not being lied to, not pretending that children can change to the opposite sex. No more lobby groups in schools. This is what Cashman is opposing. He's opposing single sex spaces. He's opposing the recognition that girls and boys are different and deserve different spaces. He is opposing children being trans the gay way. So he's in opposition to girls who would grow up to be healthy lesbians being transitioned into straight boys. And it keeps being said again and again, right? Even though I do think homophobia is a driving force for some families to go along with it. Keeps being said again and again that this is like people go, oh, especially lesbians, especially gay boys, especially lesbians. It's not especially lesbians anymore. It probably started like that, and there probably are proportionally more, girls that are autistic and would be, lesbian than there are just straight girls. But I think overwhelmingly, if you look at the numbers, actually the numbers of children that are pretending to be the opposite sex probably aren't, lesbian or gay at all. They're probably straight kids. Um, so it's just a minor thing because I think very quickly, and I think it's quite right if you are a lesbian to talk about lesbians. I think you absolutely should, and I think that we should never have a conversation in which we pretend that that's not the case. That actually there are a lot of young lesbians being kind of coming out as straight boys, right? That's a terrible thing, and it's really deeply homophobic. And I think it's quite right that lesbians center themselves in activism always, actually, because it's really, really important. However, the lie that you can change sex and you can be born in the wrong body is a dangerous, on equal footing, dangerous lie to any individual child, regardless of their sexuality. It is a dangerous lie for them. It's a dangerous lie for their families. It's a dangerous lie for everyone around them. Cashman also referred to a lot of children having abuse at home. Now, I just want to say, I think nowadays abuse is if your parents don't let you stay up till 10 o'clock at night, children will say they're abused. I think genuine abuse, I think we ought to be very, very careful when we use the word abuse, that it isn't just your parents don't go along with your belief system, that it genuinely does mean abuse. And I think we are in real danger that we just group anything in as abuse. Abuse really should be reserved for things that are abusive, not disagreement. A parent not going along with a 13-year-old who pretends they're non-binary, I don't think is abusive. I think that's a damn good parent. Anyway. Right. Uh, okay. I'm loving this. This is what it looks like. So you fold it up like that. Or you can have it like that. Oh, you could kind of be like a TERF activist, like a trans activist. I just feel like that. Anyway, right, I'm off. If you can wear this beautiful hat, uh, and not look at your massive face on the screen, then I promise we will win. Um, if you can go to the store and get one of our few remaining calendars, all these until the next batch. Oh my god. The calendar is like it's a work of genius. I don't want to big up myself, but it's a work of genius. Um, if you can um, stand beside someone in Scottish Parliament and still be wearing a suffragette scarf, I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.